Hello and welcome to another Scott's Thoughts. Scott's Thoughts is going to be a series of videos that I make that I discuss my thoughts, hence the title, Scott's Thoughts, on various subjects. Now, they're not necessarily important things, maybe sometimes they will be, but I'll have different topics. Like I said, some will be important, some won't be really that important. Some things are just important to me, some things are just points of curiosity. Sometimes it'll just be maybe explaining something to you, some kind of information, some story in the news or in science or whatever, something that piques my interest. And maybe at some point I might actually suggest things in the comments that you want to hear. But for now, it's basically just whatever subject comes to mind that I think is interesting. So my last was, what's the deal with nostalgia? And that was officially the first video. I mean, my time travel video I could count as a Scott's Thoughts, except I hadn't called it Scott's Thoughts yet. So I won't count that, even though it's pretty much in the same vein as this. So we will count this as episode 2 of Scott's Thoughts. Alright, so today's episode, what is the topic? Topic of today's episode is customer etiquette. And you're probably scratching your head wondering, what does he mean by customer etiquette? Some of you probably know what I mean. I'm sure there's a good portion of you that do, but most of you probably don't. So, let's get into it. I've been working since I got out of high school in a supermarket. If you know me, and if you're watching this, you probably know me because no one knows this channel exists, really. You know that I do that for a living. Yeah, I did go to college, so I'm not, somehow I got trapped in it. But anyways, on the subject at hand. When you work in a supermarket, or really any part of retail, you kind of notice things about people that you probably didn't otherwise notice. Because you're dealing with them all the time, and because they're strangers, you don't really have any preconceived filter about them. Though I have to admit, now that they're employees, now that they're customers, and I have my notions about customers, maybe I have a bit of a filter at this point, but you don't have a filter of I already know this person, I know what they're like. And you notice things about their behaviors. When people go into a supermarket, or any retail outlet, obviously they're there to purchase things. And I've noticed a lot of them, not all of them, obviously this is not universal, but a lot of them don't seem to have much regard for the people who work there. So what do I mean by this? I mean the way they treat the people who work there, the way they behave in the store. So let's go to a few things that kind of bother me. Okay, 1. Treating the employees like they all have control of the company, and anything that goes wrong is the fault of whichever particular employee you're talking to. I don't use the term associate because I think that's kind of a silly term. Okay, that's not really that important. Anyways, yeah, a lot of customers seem to come in, and if something's wrong, they assume the employee they're talking to is somehow responsible. Example, something's on sale, and for whatever reason, the store's out of it. Now, I understand your frustration. I really do. You see something on sale, you expect it to be there. However, not everyone who works at the store has any control over this. Understandable frustration. But to take it out on the employee as if it's their fault is very rude, very inconsiderate, and very stressful for the person that you're taking it out on. How do I explain? People come up to me and they'll say, do you have any of product X? Oh, look, my cat wants to sit on my lap. I hope you don't mind. She might join us in the video. And I say, why don't you have any of product X? Well, I could be really rude and say, because we sold it all, which would be almost always true. But sometimes it might be that someone didn't order enough. Sometimes it might be that we underestimated, and I shouldn't say we because I don't order most of the stuff in the store. It could be that the management has underestimated how well something's going to sell. And that's incredibly plausible and it can happen. And sometimes it is because there's a problem with the supply. Then you say, well, why is it on sale if you have a problem with the supply? Well, the thing you need to understand about retail, okay, the cat's not going to sit on my lap, I can put my feet down. The thing you have to understand about the way sales work in a store is they're planned in advance. And I'm not talking like a week in advance or 2 weeks in advance. We're talking like a month, maybe 2 months in advance. It depends on the type of retail outlet or whatever, but they're planned in advance. Now, at the time you plan it, you plan this fantastic sale. And so you set up the sale, you put everything in the system to start up on the sale. When the sale starts, you send the ad to the printers, to put in the flyers that are going to go out in the mail. And, the customers get the flyer in the mail and say, oh, look, this thing I want is on sale for a really good price, and they're going to go out to the store. But the problem is, somewhere between the sale being planned and the flyers going out and the sale starting, something went wrong with the product supply. And there's a number of places it can go wrong, and sometimes it is actually the company's fault, but it isn't always. Something went wrong, and now we can't get it. And people come into the store and they get upset. And yeah, of course, they don't know what the problem is, and I realize that. They don't know that it's a supply problem, and I get that. I'm just telling you, this is one of the reasons why a store might be out of something. It's a supply problem. And I'm in the store and they want thing and it's not there. Now, I try when I can, if I know something like that, to explain it to people. But some people, they don't, the connection isn't made. They don't get that we have no control over our manufacturer's supply. Okay, so another example is they come in, let's say the sale ends on Thursday. When the store closes at 11 o'clock. They come in at 10 o'clock, the last day of the sale, and what they want is out, and they get all bent out of shape. Now, okay, you're saying, well, the sale's still on until 11 o'clock, but the problem is we don't want to have overage, especially if it's something that's perishable. Because if you have overage of something that's perishable after the sale, you might not get rid of it before it goes bad. That and you have limited space. A store's back room has a limited amount of space. It's not a TARDIS. It's not bigger on the inside. So we try to plan it so that we have enough to get us through the sale. But odds are certain things are going to run out before the last minute of the sale. So if you come in with an hour left in the sale and the thing you're looking for is out, especially if it's a really good sale, I don't think it's fair to be angry that it's gone. Especially because you can get a rain check, and then when it comes in, you can still buy it at that price. But again, that isn't necessarily something that is the employee you're talking to's fault, and people get bent out of shape, and they're blaming the employee. And trust me, I've been there, and it's very clear that they think it's my fault that we're out of something. And they get bent out of shape. And customer etiquette is, please be patient in understanding that most of the employees have no control over this. And while you may be frustrated, try to be kind and not take it out on the employees. But okay, that's a minor thing. I can kind of deal with that. But I thought I'd start out with something that you probably can relate to the most as a customer who may never have worked in retail. Let's move on to something else. The way people treat the product in the store. And there's a wide variety of things that this covers, so we'll start with something simple. You're walking through the store, you look at a box of cereal in the cereal aisle, you look it over, and you put it back. Where do you put it? Do you put it back where you got it from? If you do, thank you. But a lot of people pick it up, look at it, and for whatever reason decide to put it, let's say they got it on the second shelf, put it down on the third shelf. So they pick up the Cocoa Puffs, look at it, they decide they don't want, they put it down in front of the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Or they put it back, but they put it back backwards and no one can see the label of what it says. And you can probably tell from the back what's what, but there's other products where you turn around and you don't know what it is unless you turn around. And if they block off the entire row, then other customers can't read what's on it and they don't know what's there and they're looking for something. Maybe they're looking for that item and because the thing's flipped around, they can't find it. Anyways, So you take it, you put it down another shelf. Or you pick it up, you put it in your carriage, and you're walking along, and 5 aisles later you decide you don't want it, and you just stick it down somewhere. And you're probably saying, well, isn't it your job to put it back? And I can say to you, if you say that, that is one of the rudest, most self-absorbed things you can say. Well, okay, not one of, but it's very rude and self-absorbed. You know why? Because as much as, yes, I am paid to put things on the shelf, I have other things to do besides clean up after the mess other people make. And you probably think, well, one thing, that's no big deal. Well, yeah, if it stopped at one thing, maybe, but it doesn't. We're talking hundreds of things every day dumped anywhere. And we're not just talking about things like boxes of cereal. People will pick up a gallon of milk, put it in their carriage, and decide they don't want it and leave it sitting on a shelf in the paper towel aisle. Now, what do you think we have to do with the gallon of milk or any perishable item that we find sitting out on a warm, room temperature shelf for an unknown amount of time, especially if we pick it up and the product itself is in fact room temperature? If you guessed we have to throw it away, you'd be right. How does that affect you? Well, put it this way. Where do you think stores get their income from? Get 100% of their income from? Customer purchases. When you leave that on that shelf and we have to throw it away, that is almost as bad as you just walking out the door with it without paying for it. Not quite as bad, we get some credit for it, but it's not very much, and it's still pretty much a big loss for us. So yeah, not only that, you've wasted perfectly good food. I'd rather you leave the box of Cocoa Puffs somewhere on the shelf, because at least that I can put back on the shelf and still sell. When you put a gallon of milk somewhere on the shelf, unless I pick it up and it's ice cold and I know, okay, it just got put there, I gotta throw it away. It's health code laws, and just because it's milk, it's supposed to be kept cold. Now I gotta throw it away. And it's not just milk, it's ice cream, it's meat, it's frozen food items. It's a lot of perishable things. If you ever go to the deli counter and you say you want some slice, or you go to the fish counter and you have them give you up a fresh thing of fish, pack it up for you and go, and you dump that on the shelf somewhere, you know what we have to do with that? We have to throw it away. We cannot, once you leave the counter with something, we can't sell it, we can't take it back and sell it. Even if you walk around the store, come back and hand it back to the deli counter and say, I changed my mind. We legally cannot sell it to you. It's not just company policy. We can't, because we don't know what you've done with it since you left the shelf, since you left with it. Now, obviously, if you come back in 10 minutes, it's still cold, but maybe you're a psychopath. Maybe you put something in it. Either way, we can't take the chance. Even though it's unlikely, we can't take the chance with that. We have to throw it away. And again, you might as well have just stolen it if you're going to do that. And I'm not saying steal it. No. When you steal, you drive the prices up. Now, there are a lot of factors that do. I'm not saying this is a sole factor. But when you steal stuff and you leave stuff out on the shelf to go bad, or even when you leave stuff that isn't perishable, but stuff that we have to put back, that costs the store money, and the cost will eventually get passed on to you, the customer, because that's where we get our money from, is your purchases. You gotta understand, even non-perishable things, we gotta put it back, that takes up a considerable amount of time, because it's a lot of stuff. That's time we could be spending doing other things. That means more labor the store has to pay for. And guess what? Retail does not like paying people. They do not like handing out hours. If they could run the store with no hours, they'd do it. Obviously they can't. But they want to run in as few hours as possible. And guess what? If there's more work to do, they may or may not give us more hours to do it. My experience has been, do more in less time with less help. That seems to be the retail motto. So as much as we're getting paid to put your box of Cocoa Puffs back, could you consider maybe, just for a second, I could put it back. It's one item for me. I could walk myself back to the aisle and put it back. I mean, it's going to take, it not only doesn't take that much time to just put the thing back where you got it from, but it makes our lives a lot easier. And, would it be nice to think of someone other than yourself? Because that's the way it seems when people do this, is that they're not thinking of anyone but themselves. I mean, maybe you don't see it that way. You say, I'm in a hurry. If you're in a hurry, why didn't you think about what you wanted before you picked it up? Just saying, please consider, you're making other people's lives more difficult. And you don't need to. When you go to the deli counter, decide what you want before you ask them to cut it up. And once you have it, commit yourself to paying for it. Because guess what? If I don't buy it, when I get it cut up, it's going to get thrown out. It's a loss. And you're saying, I'm just one person, but guess what? It's not just you, it's lots of people doing it. And it adds up. Okay, and it's just plain rude. Okay. So one of the things people do with the products, they look at the shelf, and they decide what they want to buy, and for whatever reason, they feel the need to just shove a bunch of stuff aside. I can't really figure out the logic behind this one, but I watched people do this. They stick their hand in against the side of one and just push a bunch aside. I don't know if they think that we're hiding some special product behind it for those who put in the extra effort to find it, but we're not. If the front of the row is Cocoa Puffs, guess what the back of the row is? More Cocoa Puffs. People like to do this with the yogurt all the time too. I've seen people just going and for some reason they go and they just shove it, and I don't even know, they don't even know what's behind it. They just shove. And cumulatively, that makes a mess. And these same people are the ones who will then complain that the shelf is a mess and they can't find anything. I've actually seen someone, actually going back to our previous thing, open up the door. I work a lot in dairy, so I'll probably refer to perishables a lot. Open up the door of the milk case. And take a gallon of milk out, and get this. Close the door, walk to the next door, open it up and put it there, put it in that shelf, and walk away. As if they were intentionally making a mess. Intentionally moving. Because they didn't even look at it and be like, you know what, I don't want it. They literally just open this door, take it, open that door, put it there, and walked away. What is that? I can't figure that out. But yeah, the whole pushing things aside to look behind for the special flavor or product that you think we're hiding from you, again, I don't really understand the logic behind this one, but it happens all the time. Could you please stop doing that? Not only do we have to fix it, but more importantly, maybe if I appeal to you, to how it affects you personally, when it makes a mess, it makes it harder to find things when you're shopping. People love to, one of the sections I hate to have to work is the granola bars. People love to destroy the granola bar set. I don't want this one, I'll just put it over here. I'm going to put it over here. What is so hard about putting it back where you got it from? If you were in your own home, wouldn't you put something back where you took it out from? Of course you would. Of course you're in your own home, you're the one who has to clean it up. But at the store, someone else has to clean it up. So for some reason, because someone else has to clean it up, it's not your problem and you can do whatever you please. No, that is rude. That is mean. How would you like it if it was you? Now, I have no problem with you picking something up and deciding you don't want it, but put it back. I have no problem with you, say, looking for a better date on your perishables. That I can understand you want a better date in your perishables. But for the love, when you're done looking, can you put it back? Can you put things back the way you found them? If you take 15 of them aside, looking for that one extra day on the expiration date that is ever so important to you, could you take the 15 you moved and put them back? Instead of leaving them all over the place? Please? If not for me, for you and your fellow customers so you can find things? Because guess what? We don't spend every second of the day roaming the store fixing stuff. We don't have the time to do that. We got to put products on the shelf. Okay? We just don't have time for this nonsense all day, every day. At the end of the day, we'll fix things, but the bigger mess you make, the longer it takes. And it's either not going to get finished or it's going to cost more money to fix. And guess what? Again, the price will go up for you if this keeps happening. Again, there are other reasons why prices go up besides things that customers do, but it is a contributing factor. Okay? So here's another one. And this isn't really so much customer etiquette as is downright shoplifting. Let's see, I'm trying to think of an item. Okay. You take a bottle of soda or water or chocolate milk or whatever you like out of one of the refrigerator cases. You open it up and you start drinking and you drink it. Now, first of all, you're probably not going to die of dehydration in the time it takes you to finish your shopping and exit the store and pay for the product. But that being said, okay, if you really are that thirsty and you drink it, fine. But when you're done with it, take the empty package to the register and pay for it. I see this all the time. People open up something, start drinking it, and I'm saying to myself, I'm going to find that empty package on the shelf later. And 9 times out of 10, I do. And whether the package leaves the store or not, it's still shoplifting. You're still a thief. And I don't know how you think you can justify it to yourself, but it's not okay. Another thing I see, people walk the store and they're eating a banana or some other piece of fruit. Now, I'm hoping that you took a pre-banana weight of yourself before you decided to eat this thing, because that stuff's by the pound. If you bring up the banana peel to the register, which you're probably not going to do because you're a thief, and try to pay for it, we don't know how much that banana weighed. So I'm hoping you had a pre-banana weight for yourself, so you can weigh yourself after the banana and subtract the difference, so we know how much the banana weighed, so you can pay for it. But obviously that's not your intent. Or you go to the bakery and you grab a muffin and you eat it. Well, that's per each. If you get up to the register and you say, I had a muffin, I ate it, I want to pay for it, okay, that's fine. But most people who are eating a muffin as they walk through the store have no intention of paying for it. And I find a wrapper with stale muffin crumbs on it a week later, shoved away some distant corner on a shelf somewhere. Come on. And the store is not your personal trash can. Okay? So first, please pay for it. And even if you're going to go up to the register and say, I ate a muffin, could you take the wrapper with you and say, can you throw this in your trash bucket? Or find a trash bucket. There are trash buckets in the store, and throw it away. Have a little consideration. I mean, if you're someone who does this and leaves the wrapper with crumbs of stuff sitting on the shelf, if you see like mice in the store a while later, you can thank yourself for that, because you may be the problem. Okay, you probably aren't the only problem. You probably aren't the problem because mice chew through boxes. But it's disgusting. It's unsanitary. You want to hear something disgusting. And if you've done this, then you already know, you know what it is. And when I tell you, and you're going to be like, oh, I do that. What's the big deal? Because apparently you have no sense of sanitation. Cherry season, I hate cherry season. You know why? People go to the store eating the cherries, which are also by the pound, by the way, and then they leave their nasty cherry pits sitting on the shelf. You're a thief, that's disgusting. And you're a thief. And that's disgusting. If you're going to steal our cherries, could you at least put the pits in the proper receptacle? Please? It's just really gross to find your nasty cherry pits that have been in your mouth on the shelf. It's gross. And by the way, don't chew into a cherry pit. They have cyanide. It only takes 1 or 2 to kill you. Fun fact I'm throwing in there just because I can. Yeah, please don't do that. Or your peach pits, or your apple cores. Please don't leave those on the shelf either. By the way, apple seeds also have cyanide, but not really enough to kill you. Yeah, please not do that. If you must steal our produce, at least put your waste in the proper receptacle. At least don't be disgusting. You still stole from us, but at least be a neat and hygienic thief. Please? Okay? Enough on that. Okay, well, those are some of the big ones that bother me. If you work in retail, and you've got some others you'd like to share with me, feel free to put them in the comments. If you're going to leave rude, snide remarks like, it's your job to clean up after us, it's your job to fix the store, please know, I really don't care. Because if you're someone who does this stuff, you're rude, you're inconsiderate, and you clearly aren't really thinking through what you're doing. Or if you are, you don't care. Okay? Look, I know no one's perfect. I know you're going to make a mistake once in a while. That's fine, but people do these things consistently. They do them on a regular basis. Well, that's what consistently means. I thought I'd clarify for those of you who don't have the best vocabulary. There's just no reason for it. It's very frustrating. Yeah, it's very frustrating. So if you ever get to work in retail, you'll learn what I'm talking about very, very quickly. I really feel like there's something else I wanted to address. Give me a moment. I must think. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Pretending you're ignorant. This is a fun one. What do I mean by pretending you're ignorant? I mean pretending you don't know how shelf tags work. You know the little tags on the shelf that tell you how much something costs? You know the tag that's under the item is the tag that goes with it? Not the tag 5 feet down the shelf. Not the tag above it, and unless it's a hanging item, in which case that's the only possible place to put the tag, is above it because of the way hanging things works. And when you say, well, I thought that tag above it was for the thing under it. Really? You didn't make that mistake on anything else in the store. Why did you make that mistake here? Oh, I know. Because you're trying to get by with something. That's why. Maybe there's a few of you who really are that easily confused, in which case you probably shouldn't be doing your own shopping if you're that easily confused. You probably shouldn't be driving because you probably think the stop sign means go, or stop until the sign says go. You know, it's universal. Pretty much every store, tag goes under the item. Not the tag doesn't go on the item next to it. And another thing, if there is not a sale tag on an item, don't assume it's on sale. Yeah, sometimes sale tags fall off, they get torn. But if there's no sale tag on it, and it doesn't ring up on sale, it probably wasn't on sale. Even if other things of that brand were. For example, Thomas's English Muffins and the bagels, usually the way their sales work is either the plain, the whole grain plain, the honey wheat, and the raisin are on sale, or the other ones are all on sale. Very rarely are all of them on sale. And when it's one of those either or things, there's a sale tag under the ones that are on sale and not on the ones that aren't. So if you see a sale tag on the plain ones, and you don't see one on the cranberry, and you go up with the cranberry and you say, and it brings up full price, and you go, I thought it was on sale. Was there a sale tag under it? No. So guess what? You shouldn't be surprised that it's not on sale. Because there was no sale tag under it. Now, if the tag came off, and it was on sale, then it's a nice surprise, right? And whoever complained that they ended up paying less for something they expected to. But if it's not, there's no sale tag, don't assume it's on sale. If it's on sale, we're going to put a sale tag on it. Okay? Now, fortunately, in most stores, we now have scanners where around the store where you can scan something. So if you're not sure, if you say, let's say, 49 out of 50 varieties are on sale, but this one isn't, take it to the scanner and scan it. But again, if there's no tag on it, don't assume it's on sale. There may be a reason it's not on sale. It may be that that variety costs more than the others do. And that does happen. In fact, a lot of things, different varieties cost more, even though they are all on sale. For example, milk. Whole milk costs more to the store than fat-free milk, or low fat, or 2%. And the reason for that is because the milk company can do less with that milk. You see, when they produce skim milk, they can use the butter fat from the milk that they didn't take, the butter fat that they took out from the milk to make other products such as butter. But whole milk, everything's in there, which means all they can do with it is sell milk. So it costs more. Now, of course, in most stores, all the milks are the same price, and that's to make it easier for you, the consumer. But the fact is, some things cost more than others to make, and some, so you see a variety of things. Sometimes one of them is more expensive than all the other ones on sale. Let's say all the other ones are regularly priced $3. This one is $3.99, and there's no sale tag on it. That's probably why. But again, if you don't see a sale tag, don't assume it's on sale. And don't get upset with us when you get up there and it's not on sale, because there was no sale tag on it. You had no reason to think it was on sale. There was no sale tag. And I love this one too. When you have a big display of something on the end, and the big sign tells you what the sale price is. They look at the sale price, and they take it over the scanner and scan it anyways. First, why did you think the sale sign, did you think that was just there for a decoration? Especially when they're all the same variety, so there's no reason to think, oh, maybe this was put here by accident, it's all the exact same thing. I guess that's not so much of an etiquette issue as just, what are you doing? I mean, I don't really care if you do it, it's just one of those little oddities that I go, okay, that was weird. And I realize there are things that I know from the inside that you don't know on the outside, but I feel like that's one of those things where if you see a sale sign, that's probably the price. And if it's on that end display and it's not that price, and it doesn't, it doesn't ring up that price, we have to give it to you anyways, at least for that price. And in some stores, if it's under a certain value, we give it to you for free because it was mismarked. So, there's that. But yeah, don't assume something's on sale if there's no sale tag on it, because if it was on sale, we would have put a sale tag there. That was a big beef of mine. Yeah. Anyways, that's my Scott's Thoughts for today. I'm sure I've thoroughly annoyed, or I'm going to say, I probably thoroughly pissed off everyone watching this in at least one facet or another. And, guess sometimes you get upset people to tell them the truth. And I know I probably seem really bitter and stuff, but I really want people to understand how their actions impact other people. It's just, it seems like we live in a society where we think that we can just do what we want. Or people have this attitude that, well, this person's paid to do this, so it doesn't matter if I make their work more difficult for them. And that's rude, that's selfish, it's not very nice. So, thanks for watching. If you sat through the whole thing, kudos to you. I know I ran on, wow, I think I went almost an hour on this one. I'll probably do some editing and it'll still be long. So thank you for sitting through this. Leave your comments below. If you're pissed off at me, whatever, tell me you're pissed off. I won't delete them unless you're being obscene. If you have questions, and I don't mean like, why are you such a jerk questions, because I'm not going to answer that. If you have legitimate questions about how things work in retail and why exactly these things bother me so much, if you ask politely, I will answer you politely. If you have ideas for future Scott's Thoughts, things you'd like to hear me discuss, you can put that in the comments. Yeah. Oh, and I know I mentioned I'm going to be doing baking videos. I am working on editing one right now, and I'll get that up as soon as I can. Be my first official baking video. I tried making one before, and I didn't like the way it came out, really. So, yeah, I'll probably redo that one next time I make that particular recipe. Alright, so thanks for watching, and I will not see you next time because you're on the other side of a computer watching this and I can't see you. Goodbye.